Keeping these F50s foiling in a straight line is one thing, but manoeuvring at speed is where things get really interesting.
It's gonna dive down, it gets pretty wet.
Hiya, I'm Lisa Darmanin, Olympic silver medalist, and I'm taking you inside the high-speed chaos of F50 manoeuvres.
And look at New Zealand trying to dive inside.
We'll break down the 4 essential turns every team needs to master, plus a sneak peek at the jaw-dropping moves only the top crews dare to pull off. Right, just to give you some context of how insane this is. Imagine driving a car, but you're not doing it alone. One person's got the steering wheel, one's on the accelerator, someone else is shifting gears, another's on the brake, and someone else is on the clutch. Now add up to 3 Gs of force, and everyone has to act in perfect sync. No dramas, eh?
Hold on, guys.
Unlike cars, sailboats can't just go straight. They have to zigzag at angles to the wind, round marks on the course, and execute a turn every minute or two in a 12-minute race. It's really easy to go fast in a straight line, but turning at speed without crashing or slowing down, that's the real challenge. So there are 4 core maneuvers every SailGP team has to master. Let's take a look. First of all, there's the tack. This is when the front of the boat turns towards the wind, switching from one side to the other. It's a controlled pivot, but you lose speed quickly if you don't nail the timing. A close relative of the tack is the jibe. It's the opposite to a tack. This time the back of the boat turns towards the wind. It sounds smoother, but jibing at high speeds can be explosive. Literally. Then there's the bear away. This is when the front of the boat turns from going towards to away from the wind. It's how you go from an upwind angle to launching downwind.
Brits are off and running at mark number 1. Look at the speeds.
And it's one of the most dangerous moves you'll see on the course. You're often flying at top speeds, the load on the foils and rudders are insane, and one wrong move can send the boat nosediving straight into the water. The same way a jibe and a tack are closely related, so is a bear away and a roundup. In this manoeuvre, the boat turns into the wind. And it's just as sketchy because the G-forces are insane. And if you don't manage the power properly and pop one of those big rudders at the back of the boat out of the water, it can be pretty wild. It's a balancing act between staying airborne and losing all control. Bearaways and roundups are the wild ones. They're where we see the biggest crashes, nosedives, the crew thrown off balance. It's on a knife edge between brilliance and disaster. So why are manoeuvres so hard? Well, each turn demands split-second timing and seamless coordination between the crew. Even if one person is out of sync, the result can be a costly drop in speed, or worse, a crash. Not only this, but teams don't always get to choose when they move, as the rest of the fleet forces their hand to move.
Oh, France, cat-like reactions from De La Pierre.
Get penalised, or cause contact. It all comes down to strategy, positioning, race course boundaries, and pressure from other boats.
Does she leave an opening for Slingsville? Yes, she does. Slingsville go inside here. Tony's thread the needle. It's a sprint to the finish.
Whether it's fighting for the inside line, staying in clean air, or setting up the next move, the best teams are always thinking 2 steps ahead, perfectly positioning the boat for whatever's coming next. I've said a lot about what these moves are, but what does it actually take to pull one off? Let's break it down. We'll start with tacks and jibes. These are the moments when the boat turns through or away from the wind, and the crew has to switch sides mid-flight. It's like a perfectly choreographed dance, but of course, at 80 km/h, it's not so easy. As the call comes in, the wing trimmer grinder 1, and usually the strategist sprint to the other side of the boat. Yes, sprint. They need to be across before the driver starts the turn. Miss that timing and you risk getting caught mid-transition and launched across the boat. Once that turn begins, a lot happens. The flight controller drops the foils that's up into the water. The driver begins steering through the turn. One of the crew, this varies boat to boat, inverts the wing, flipping it from one tack to the other, a crucial move to manage power through the turn. While all this is happening, the flight controller is still head down and managing how high and stable the boat gets, ensuring the boat doesn't fall out of the sky. The wing trimmer pulls in the wing to power it up out of the maneuver. Then the strategist, now up on the new side, often jumps on steering duties momentarily. Then the final touches begin. The wing trimmer lifts the old foil out of the water. The driver runs across to take the wheel on the new side, just as the second grinder joins. The driver now takes over flight control via the wheel, while finally the flight controller runs across and resets on the new side. That's a lot going on, and by the way, this all needs to happen in seconds. Get it wrong and the boat crashes off its foils, loses all speed, or worse, a full wipeout. When teams have all the time in the world, this choreography is manageable. But under pressure, approaching a boundary, dodging another boat, or lining up for a gate, it's a scramble, and it all has to happen in seconds. Right, take a breath. If you think that was difficult, let's talk about the fairway. This is one of the most intense high-risk maneuvers in SailGP, and it happens right as the F50s hit their top speed at the most crowded place on the racetrack, Mark 1. As teams turn away from the wind gets behind the wing and sends them flying. But sometimes the flying ends up in the water. As the boat accelerates, two things happen at once. More wind flows over the wing, generating extra power, and more water rushes over the foils, increasing lift, pushing the boat higher. To nail a bearaway, 3 crew members play a critical role, and the number one goal is a stable platform. The driver needs to turn the boat just right. It needs to be smooth, not too aggressive, so that both the flight controller and wing trimmer can keep up. Too sharp and the boat will trip over itself. The wing trimmer is managing the power. As the boat gets faster, they take just enough speed off to not tip over, but not too much that they drop off entirely. Balance is everything, and the boat needs to stay flat and fast. The flight controller is under huge pressure at this moment. As the nose turns downwind, the speed ramps up. The foils start generating massive lift. The flight controller must keep the boat from flying too high, but they also don't want the front of the boat to touch and lose speed. Often, you'll see the boat launching into the air like a rocket, only to nosedive straight into the water. It's split-second coordination. One miscalculation, and the crashes are painful for those on board, but spectacular for us fans. The brother of the bearaway is the roundup. This move happens as teams round the gates to head back up the course, what we call upwind. Like a bearaway, the roundup comes with a surge of power, but this time they're turning into the wind.
Roundup, German roundup.
And once again, the driver, wing trimmer and flight controller need to be in perfect sync. As the driver starts the turn, the wing trimmer has to catch the boat, managing a sudden rush of power, followed by a drop in power. This is a big moment for the grinders. You'll see them smashing the handles, pulling in the wing sheet, trying to time it to that perfect moment when the boat hits its new angle and they can stabilize it.
Turning up here in 2, 1, coming up.
Meanwhile, the flight controller is under major stress. As the boat turns into the breeze, the foil on the leeward side travels a huge arc through the water, generating massive lift. They need to stay high enough to avoid dragging a hull, but not so high that the boat launches out of control.
Watch the speed as they come around the Aussies, put in a big dip.
This is one of the most violent maneuvers on the racetrack, with up to 3 Gs of force. And if they miss the mark, it's a full-blown rocket launch, followed by a nosedive into the ocean. It's all about reading the limit, trusting your crew, and committing with total coordination across the boat. Now we've nailed the maneuvers, but imagine linking 2 of them together. That's where the top teams really show their class. Attack into a bearaway, a jibe straight into a roundup, back-to-back moves with barely a second to breathe. The coordination, timing, and communication needed to pull that off without crashing, stalling, or losing speed, it's next level. It's not just about doing one maneuver well, it's about chaining them together with precision and under pressure, a literal breakneck speed. That's what separates the best from the rest. Not only that, but each team builds their own playbook for getting around a racetrack. And when you've got only seconds to act, there's no time for long explanations. That's where code words come in. You'll hear calls like JK, that's a round up into attack. A flip-flop, a double jibe at the bottom gate. An eagle, a move that requires 2 boards down to get to the mark. A dino, that's a tack into a bear away. Each team develops their own secret language, not just to streamline communication, but to keep their strategy hidden from rivals. With every other coach listening in on team comms, it's just like the NFL, calling plays with code that only their crew understands. It's fast, it's tactical, and it's all part of the game.
Oh, no! We got a collision!
So next time you're watching SailGP, remember, it's not just about flying fast in a straight line. It's about executing high-speed maneuvers with surgical precision, under brutal pressure while balancing power, coordination, and split-second timing. This is Sailing on a Knife Edge.
Hi, I'm Lisa. Make sure you subscribe to SailGP's YouTube channel for the most exciting race on water.